We're going to be creating a query, and then we're going to be using that query in another query, in a crosstab query. So for our first query, we're going to be pulling in data from 3 different tables. So we're going to go to Create and Query Design. We're going to add all 3 of these tables. And so very important that we get all of the fields that we need for the crosstab query that we're going to use this in. So let's see. From orders, we want product ID. And we want the product from the products table. And then we want units ordered. And we also want amount. And then over in suppliers, we want the supplier name. And then from orders, we want the order date. And we're going to run, and we'll save this. We're going to call it items ordered query. Now we'll close this, and we're going to be taking that query and using it in a crosstab query. Basically, a crosstab query creates a table. So it's very hard to create one of those unless you go into the query wizard and choose crosstab. And you can use tables or queries as the basis for your crosstab query. So we're going to change it from tables to queries, and we're going to choose that items ordered query that we just created. We're going to click on next. The first thing you need to decide is which field you want for your row headings. And we're going to pick supplier name. So basically in each row, we're going to have a different supplier. So we're going to click on next. And then for columns, what we're going to pick is product. So in each column, we're going to have a different product. I'm going to click on next. The last thing you have to decide is which numeric field do you want calculations based on? And we want calculations done on amount. And what we want done is we want it totaled. So basically for each supplier and product, it's going to give us a total. So at this point, we're going to click on next. And we are going to call this orders by supplier by product query. And then we're going to go ahead and click on finish. And as you can see, it does kind of a table. It's giving us a grand total here, but then it's giving us a total for each product based on the different suppliers. We get a very long table. Okay, and once you have that, we're going to close it. And yes, you want to save it. And then we're going to close out of Pack Track, and we're going to open up Copper State. Okay, and we're going to do another crosstab query. But this one, we don't have to do a query first. We're just going to go into Create and Query Wizard and choose crosstab. And for this one, it's going to be based on the claims table. And for the rows, they want claim ID. And then for the columns, we want the client ID. And then as far as what we want calculated, we want amount of claim. And the type of calculation that we want is sum. So basically, we want the ID number of the claim, we want the client's ID, and then how much the claim is. I'm going to click on next. And as far as what we're going to call this thing, it is claims by claim ID by client ID query. Okay, so you can see we've got our claim number, we've got our client number, and then the amount of the claim. Okay, and at this point we will close. And we are done with Copper State.